The Democrat plan to destroy American health care includes free health care and education to illegal aliens. They want to be able to vote. The illegals, hey, by the way, I hate to tell you, you go to California, they vote anyway. They vote anyway, and they're not supposed to.
President Trump laying the groundwork to call into question the legitimacy of the midterm elections.
Well, he's not even trying to hide his
Per
lies.
usual,
It's
the straw men are undocumented immigrants whom he accuses without evidence of widespread voter fraud, even after his own presidential commission found none.
Isn't that he had a presidential commission that he put in force. They were going around with all their binders, and they ended up finding that it was all just a lie.
And yet he continues to lie. That lie, however, was just a drop in the bucket amid false claims of California rioting, an impending middle-class tax cut, it's not coming, and the approach of unknown Middle Easterners at the southern border. Good morning, everyone, and welcome.
By the way, there are about 20 more of those, by the way, and he's not even trying to hide his lies anymore. He's just putting them all out there.
Welcome to Morning Joe. It's Tuesday, October 23rd. Along with Joe, Willie, and me, we have MSNBC contributor Mike Barnicle.
Go Red Sox.
The author of the Washington Post's new early morning newsletter, Power Up, Jacqueline Alemany.
Go Podcasts.
And Pulitzer Prize-winning columnist and associate editor of the Washington Post and MSNBC political analyst Eugene Robinson. And Joe, the word of the day is lie. And you've been doing a lot of reading lately.
Well, I have. I mean, if you talk to Willie Geist, he will tell you I'm a very important guy. I have many leather-bound books in my apartment.
It smells of rich mahogany, yes.
It does. It smells of rich mahogany. So, as Willie and I are wont to do, last night, I get tired of going through all of my leather-bound books, and I started reading old government reports, which is what Willie and I do when we're just kind of bored with the classics. And Mika, I want to read this. This is referencing nobody.
Right.
So please, my beloved viewers out there, do not draw a parallel between what is said here and anybody, living or dead, past or present. That would hurt me very deeply, and you don't want to hurt me deeply. I don't want to weep on the show. So this doesn't relate to anybody whatsoever. It's just, I was going through reams and reams and volumes. I love World War II, and big Churchill fan. Love what Rosa. So I was reading this. It's from the United States Office of Strategic Services in describing Hitler's psychological profile, and this only pertains to Adolf Hitler and pertains to nobody else. I just can't state that enough. But this is what they had for Adolf Hitler's psychological profile, and for those of you in the midst of reading World War II government reports, you'll find it fascinating. His primary rules were never allow the public to cool off, never admit a fault or wrong, never concede that there may be some good in your enemy, never leave room for alternatives, never accept blame, concentrate on one enemy at a time and blame him for everything that goes wrong. People will believe a big lie sooner than a little one. And if you repeat it frequently enough, people will sooner or later believe it. That is, of course, the U.S. government during World War II, Mika, talking about Adolf Hitler. That's all we're talking about here, Adolf Hitler. Just a little nighttime reading for me. And tonight I'm going to move on and I'm going to read Game 6, which is the story of how the Red Sox won Game 6 in 1975. You'll want to read that one, too. And I'll have a quote from that book tomorrow morning.
Well,
Mika,
it's
to you.
worth a look. President Trump is waking up in Washington this morning after a trip to Texas, where he continued to push unfounded claims about immigration and much more ahead of the midterms. As the lead headline in this morning's Washington Post describes the strategy, it is a bet on fear and falsehoods, lies. White House political director Bill Stepien tells the Post, voter satisfaction is the enemy of voter turnout, and claims what changed is that while voters are still happy in the direction the president is leading the country, they are angry at the way Democrats treated Justice Kavanaugh. They're scared when they hear Democrat after Democrat talking about socializing medicine and Medicare for all. And voters are plugged in as the president spends more and more time on the campaign trail.
But wait a second. What Donald Trump is doing on the campaign trail is he's spreading a lot of lies about non-white people to all-white crowds, Mika.
Well, a lot of what the president's saying is just not true. As the Toronto Star's Daniel Dale writes, quote, Trump has been a serial liar about just about everything for his entire tenure in office, but he has rarely before deployed so many complete fabrications about so many important subjects at the same time. I think that's why it's important to frame this. Let's just get into some of them. President Trump's claims about the Honduran caravan headed toward the U.S. are steadily being debunked. Yesterday, the president tweeted, quote, sadly, it looks like Mexico's police and military are unable to stop the caravan heading to the southern border of the United States. Criminals and unknown Middle Easterners are mixed in. I have alerted...
Wait, hold on. Is there a Saudi crown prince in there? Is he coming up to kill journalists in America, too? Like, serious, Willie, where does he go off? Donald Trump says that he's alerting the Border Patrol and the military. This is a national emergency. Must change
He's
laws.
Got to spell it right next time.
As if, Willie, must change laws, as if Republicans don't control the House and the Senate and the White House and the bureaucracy and the Supreme Court. They control absolutely everything, right?
And didn't get control yesterday. Have for 2 years, yeah.
For 2 years. And he's saying Middle Easterners? Like, what? Are we... Is he telling us Saudi Arabian crown princes that saw people to shreds are coming over the border? Like, the lies are just unbelievable, aren't they?
Well, the words are so cheap, and they always have been for him, that he puts them out, and he knows that he's not going to be able to defend them, and he doesn't even try to defend them. When he's pressed, we have a list of things he said over the last few days that are just straight-up lies, and when he's pushed on them, he has no answers. Here's what he said about the claim of, quote, unknown Middle Easterners in that caravan.
You know what you should do, John? Go into the middle of the caravan, take your cameras and search. Okay? Search. No. Take your camera, go into the middle and search. You're going to find MS-13, you're going to find Middle Eastern, you're going to find everything. Do you know how the caravan started? Does everybody know what this means? I think the Democrats had something to do with it, and now they're saying, I think we made a big mistake, because people are seeing how bad it is, how pathetic it is, how bad our laws are.
If you're listening in the car on the radio, the president was making a gesture of money being handed out as though Democrats paid the Hondurans and Guatemalans to move north. There is no evidence the caravan is being led by anyone other than Hondurans. A former senior intelligence official who continues to be briefed on current intelligence told NBC News there's no evidence that any Middle Eastern terrorists are hiding in the caravan. The president also tweeted, every time you see a caravan or people illegally coming or attempting to come into our country illegally, think of and blame the Democrats for not giving us the votes to change our pathetic immigration laws. Remember the midterms. So unfair to those who come in legally, wrote the president. Here is Shep Smith of Fox News fact-checking the president yesterday.
President Trump is calling the caravan a national emergency, and he's claiming criminals and unknown Middle Easterners are mixed in with the crowd. An important note, Fox News knows of no evidence to suggest the president is accurate on that matter, and the president has offered no evidence to support what he has said.
Well, and there's the key, Joe. The president has no evidence of that. And there you have on Fox News, Shep Smith reiterating that. We'll go through the list as well. There's no evidence that there's going to be a tax cut that's magically going to appear in the next 2 weeks for the middle class. There's no evidence there's rioting in California against sanctuary cities, as the president has claimed over the last couple of days. No evidence for any of this.
No evidence at all. I mean, and people have been writing up lists. No rioting in California. Democrats aren't giving away cars to illegal aliens. They're not Oprah. Democrats haven't organized the caravan. 50,000 people were not standing outside of Texas Stadium last night. Might have been 1,000 or 2,000. Selling weapons to Saudi Arabia isn't creating 1 million jobs. That's a lie. That's not even close. Illegal immigrants aren't voting in large numbers. I mean, you could go down the list. He talks about getting an additional $1.6 billion for the wall. We've talked about unknown Middle Easterners. I mean, you could go there are 20 things, Gene Robinson, that Donald Trump has just created out of thin air.
Yeah,
Donald Trump could have said just as easily yesterday, hey, listen, there are actually in that Honduras group, there are Martians with stingrays. And there are aliens in there, and they have sharks with lasers on them, and they are going to come to America, and they're going to come into your children's school, and these are land sharks as well, and they're going to shoot their lasers between your children's eyes.
Yeah.
That is just as accurate as every lie he has told those poor, unsuspecting crowd members.
Yeah, and look, there is a frenzy, and frankly, more than a whiff of desperation about this flurry of lies, to tell you the truth, Joe. I mean, I don't know if you sense the same thing, but even for Trump, this is extraordinary. This is just you have to sift very carefully for any sort of grain of potential truth in anything that he said last night. It's just it's unbelievable. Back away for a second, though. Why does the president having to go to a rally for a Senate race in Texas, of all places, an incumbent senator, Republican senator in Texas,
Ted Cruz.
and they have to deploy the president there to help save Ted Cruz 2 weeks before an election? That's not a good look. That's not a good sign, and it kind of tells me that there's more sort of consternation and panic in the president's circles than we might suspect.
So there have been a lot of people online that have been mocking Beto O'Rourke for the past month, saying how much he was going to get crushed. Well, if that were the case, Donald Trump wouldn't go to a guy and campaign for a guy that he called Lion Ted Cruz, who he made fun of his wife's looks, who he accused his father of assassinating JFK. Trump wouldn't have gone down there unless they were worried. And Mika, another question. Why is Donald Trump so frightened? Why is he so scared? Why is he being so pathetic and little right now? So small, so tiny that he's having to create these lies when he could say, hey, we got a great economy. Hey, we got ISIS on the run. Hey, look, consumer confidence up. The market's up. He could actually tell the truth and have a pretty good argument to make in a midterm election. Instead, for some reason, he is so scared, he is so desperate that he's just spitting out one lie after another.
Well, you just have to wonder exactly what he's doing with these lies, because he's using everything that we, as a nation and the history of this nation, have built. The trust we have in the power of the presidency, the trust we have in American values. He's using it all to break it all down. Here's what he said about the rioting in California. Take a look.
I don't think we like sanctuary cities up here. By the way, a lot of people in California don't want them either. They're rioting now. They want to get out of their sanctuary cities. You know, there's a big turn being made, folks. A lot of these sanctuary cities you've been hearing about in California and other places, but California, they want to get out. They're demanding they be released from sanctuary cities.
Go like that. Very nice. Californians are violent over this situation. Where? They shouldn't have. Take a look. They want to get out of sanctuary cities. Many places in California want to get out of sanctuary cities, right? Yeah, this rioting.
Okay, so Mike Barnicle, he's obviously lying about the riots there, and of course, Donald Trump lies for a lot of different reasons. One, it's just he's a lot more comfortable lying than telling the truth. We've all seen that. He also sometimes he's trying to distract people from his own inadequacies, and I'm just wondering whether he really got petrified a couple of days ago when Mitch McConnell said that he wanted to cut Social Security and Medicare to pay for his tax cuts for the rich. I wonder if he's really worried that if he doesn't spread all of these lies, the Democrats are going to start talking about how Mitch McConnell wants to cut Social Security and Medicare for middle-class Americans Because the tax cuts for the rich that they passed, that Donald Trump bragged about passing to his billionaire friends at Mar-a-Lago that night, said, I made all of you a lot richer. I wonder if that's what he's trying to keep off of news shows and keep out of the newspapers.
I would bet not, Joe. I would bet that he didn't even consider what Mitch McConnell told him. He's in his own universe. This is who Donald Trump is. We are witnessing it right now. We talk here nearly every day about various congressional races and various Senate races around the country. Who is going to take control of the House? Who might take control of the Senate? I would submit to you and to others that that is secondary to the basic question that we are confronted today with as a nation. What kind of a country do we want? Because we have a president of the United States who takes to the country 4-5 times a week with a litany of fear, race, division, duplicity, and an epidemic of lies, a virtual epidemic of lies. So we're 2 weeks out from an election.
Mike, make no mistake, we're 2 weeks out from the election. He goes straight to the race baiting. 2 weeks out from the election, he's talking about illegal immigrants in sanctuary cities. 2 weeks out from the election, he's talking about an invasion of illegal immigrants. 2 weeks from the election, he's talking about Hispanic gang members. He talks about, he called Hispanics breeders before. 2 weeks before the election, he's going straight. He's just tearing a page from David Duke's playbook and the Klan's playbook, and he's talking about race. Now, there's no conservative writer, there is no Republican that can deny that he is not doing that he is not playing the race card. They should be ashamed for supporting this guy. Perhaps they will, but that's what he's doing.
Joe, the currency that Donald Trump trades in is hate. Hate and division. And that's what he's spending right now, coast to coast. That's what he did last night in Texas. That's what he does each time he's out on the stump. Hate and division.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.